Hello again everyone, welcome to another AccuRise video. And today is Tuesday, and as we all know that Tuesday is AccuRise Physics Day, and today you are here with me, the grade 12 AccuRise Physics tutor, Benikaya Chaka. And today guys we'll be doing intermolecular forces, question 3 on paper 2. This topic is usually around plus minus 15 marks on the paper, and today I'm here to make sure that you get all those marks. Now firstly, we're going to start with, firstly everyone, we're going to be looking at the types of intermolecular forces. And as we all know, here in grade 12 we only deal with these three intermolecular forces, which are firstly the London dispersion forces, which are the weakest forces that you can have in a compound. So these intermolecular forces are the weakest, and that means they are the easiest to break between the bonds, right? So if a compound has London dispersion forces, that means that compound will be easier to break. That means the boiling point of that compound will be very low, because that compound does not have strong bonds. Okay, then we're moving on to the second one, which are the dipole forces, which are stronger than the London dispersion forces, but they are not the strongest. So here we know that if you compare a compound that has London dispersion forces and also a compound that has dipole forces, the compound that has the dipole forces will be the one that is stronger than the one that has London dispersion forces. Okay, that means the boiling point of this compound, of the compound that has these forces, will be much higher than the boiling point of the compound that has the first forces. Okay, and then we move on to the strongest forces, which are the hydrogen forces, that means the hydrogen bonds. These ones are the strongest, guys. So if you have a compound that has the hydrogen bonds, it will be much harder to break. That means it will need more energy to break the bonds in between, meaning that it will have a very high boiling point. Okay, so those are the three types of intermolecular forces that we're going to be dealing with. So let us move on. We've looked at the types of intermolecular forces. We're going to move on to the effects in intermolecular forces. So what actually affects the intermolecular forces? We don't have a lot of things that affect the intermolecular forces, but these are very important to that question, especially when you have compounds from the same homologous series, and now you have to find why there's a difference between the boiling points, right? So firstly, we have chain length, right, which is maybe the number of carbons, okay, in a compound. All right, so the strength of the intermolecular forces increases with surface area. Okay, so that means the more the surface area, the more the intermolecular forces, and the stronger the intermolecular forces. Okay, that means the longer the chain, or the longer chain length, means more surface area. Okay, you all know that one. The longer the chain length, the stronger the intermolecular force. Okay, so this basically means that the compound that has the longest chain length will be the stronger compound, right? Because it will have the stronger intermolecular forces. For example, right there you have 1, 2, right? You have 2 carbons, right? That is ethane. Okay, let me just put in the hydrogens there. So that is ethane, right? You compare ethane with propane, right? So if you see these two compounds, they are of the same homologous series, right? But which one will have a higher boiling point? It will be this one, because this one has a longer chain length. It has more carbons than this one right here. Okay, so if they ask you maybe which one has the higher boiling point between these two? It will obviously be propane, not ethane, because propane has the longer chain length than ethane. Okay, because we all know that the longer the chain length, the stronger the intermolecular forces. Then we go on to the second effect that we have. The second thing that affects our intermolecular forces would be the branches, right? So what I'll tell you here is that the branches are the opposite of the chain length. So here we hear that the branches decrease the molecular size, right? Which means that they decrease the surface area. Okay, so remember the chain length increased the surface area, and this one now the branches decrease our surface area, right? So if they decrease the surface area, that means the more the branches, the weaker the intermolecular forces. Okay, guys, the one that has more branches than the other one will have weaker intermolecular forces, meaning that it will have a much less boiling point. Okay, are we clear on that one? So these are the two effects that we have on the intermolecular forces. Number one being chain length, and the second one being the number of branches. Okay, so the one that has a longer chain length will have the stronger intermolecular forces, and the one that has the more branches will have the weaker intermolecular forces. Now we go into the most important part of this topic, meaning the intermolecular forces in the homologous compounds, right, guys? So this is an easy way of remembering this. I call it the Taka AR. That's how you pronounce this. It's Taka AR. This is how you pronounce this thing. Taka AR. So this will help you remember which compounds are the strongest and which ones are the weakest. This will help you when you are explaining, right? So the C that you see right there stands for the carboxylic acid. The second A that you see right there, let me cage these two. The second A that you see right there stands for the alcohols, right? So you have firstly carboxylic acid or carboxylic acid, and also you have the alcohols. All right, and then let's move on. I will show you why this is important. And then you have the next three. Let me cage these three also here. There, the first one, the K stands for the ketone. The A there stands for the aldehydes, right? Be careful, guys, don't mix these two. The A there stands for aldehydes, and then the E that you see right there, it stands for the esters, right? And then now you have the your triple A, right? I'm sure this one is obvious. You have there your triple A, which is alkyne, right? Double bonds, and the single bonds that you see right there, alkynes, alkenes, and alkanes. Okay, now let me show you why this is important. Keep in mind, you see how I cage these things, right? This is how you should keep it. Taka AR, right? Taka AR. This will make it easy for you when comparing two compounds of different homologous series. And now let me show you. Let me show you why this is important. That's carboxylic acids and also alcohols, right? So remember this for the C for carboxylic acids, and that's the A for alcohols from our Taka AR. Alright, so this is the first two. This is the first two that I caged together, right? So this means that these two have similar properties. That means they have similar intermolecular forces. Okay, so they both contain the London dispersion forces, which are the weakest forces, and the dipole forces. And most importantly, these are the only two homologous series that have hydrogen bonds, which are the strongest bonds. So what does this mean? This means that these two are the strongest, right? Are the strongest compounds that you will find there, right? So the first C and our A there. So these things are arranged, right, guys? From the Tsaka AR, this is the arrangement. This is the strongest. This is the second strongest, right? But they both have the hydrogen bonds, which are the strongest bonds, meaning the bonds that are between the carboxylic acids and alcohols will be much harder to break. That means these two compounds will have the highest boiling points out of all the compounds. Okay, so and therefore they are the strongest compounds. All right, guys, I cannot stress this enough. These two are the strongest compounds. But now we get to the interesting part. But carboxylic acids are the strongest because they have two sides for hydrogen bonding. Okay, they have two sides for hydrogen bonding, right? Because if you look at it, there's the functional group of the carboxylic acids, then you have the OH there, right? You have the OH there, and then you have the double bond oxygen there. This one, this homologous series has two sides for hydrogen bonding. And now for alcohols, what you should know is that they have one side for hydrogen bonding, right? So that means the carboxylic acids are the strongest. Now when we compare these two, when we compare the carboxylic acids and the alcohols, yes, out of all the other compounds, both of them are the strongest, right? But now what happens when you compare the two of them, right? So when we compare the two of them, we see here that carboxylic acids, since they have two sides for hydrogen bonding, they are the strongest between them and alcohol. Okay, so keep that in mind, guys. Keep that in mind. Know that the two of them have hydrogen bonds, right? But since carboxylic acids have two sides for the hydrogen bonding, they will have they will be the strongest out of the two compounds. All right, now let's move on. We are going to our second cage, which was K, the second A, and then the E, right? And we said the K stands for ketones, the A stands for the aldehydes, and the E stands for the esters, right? So the second cage that we have there, that means they also have similar intermolecular forces, right? These three compounds have similar intermolecular forces. Okay, so the first one being the London forces and the dipole forces, right? So meaning here, now what the meaning here, these two are missing the hydrogen bonds, right? So that means after the C and the A comes the K, A, and E. That means after these two, these three are the second strongest compounds. Okay, so these two are the strongest, and that means these three are the second strongest compounds, right? Because they have dipole forces and London dispersion forces, right? Meaning the difference here between them and the carboxylic acids and the alcohol would be the hydrogen bonds. Okay, now and therefore they are stronger than alkynes, alkenes, and alkanes, but are weaker than the carboxylic acids and the alcohols. Right? Now let's move on to our third cage, which was the triple A. Okay. Now, guys, I want you to look at the arrangement of the Gaga AR, right? It's from the strongest to the weakest, okay? Meaning, our first A there, the first A that we have in this cage would be alkynes, right? Because they have triple bonds. That means triple bonds are much harder to break than double bonds, are much harder to break than single bonds, okay? So the first A there would stand for the alkynes. Alright, that means the second A would stand for the one that has double bonds, which is alkenes, right? Because they are the strongest out of these three, right? And then the third one would go to the weakest, which have single bonds between them, right? And they also have similar intermolecular forces, which means they only have London dispersion forces. right? Now that means now these are the weakest homologous compounds because they have the weakest intermolecular forces, the London dispersion forces, right? But again, what I just said, that alkynes are the strongest out of the three because they have triple bonds which are hard to break, and alkenes are the second strongest because they have the double bonds. All right, sorry guys. That means they have the double. That means they have, because of the double bonds right there. Okay, because of the double bonds. Alright guys, so now that's how you can memorize this thing, so that you know which compounds are the strongest, you know which are the weakest. Kaka A R, right? Just like that, Kaka A R. That means the first two have the hydrogen bonds, the second cage has dipole forces as their strongest forces, right guys? And the third cage has London dispersion forces. Now I want you, when explaining this, don't mention all the other forces that are in these compounds, don't mention all the other intermolecular forces that are in these compounds. Always make sure that you mention the strongest compounds, right? Or the strongest intermolecular forces, meaning for the first two you will only mention the hydrogen bonds, right? Because no bonds here, no intermolecular forces here are stronger than the hydrogen bonds, right? And for this one, you only mention the dipole forces, because no forces here in these two are stronger than the dipole forces, and these ones here they only have the London dispersion forces, right guys? So that you make sure that we get those 3 marks. Sometimes it's not that we don't know the answer to these questions, but it's how we answer them that makes us not get the full marks, right? So now I'm going to show you guys how to answer these questions using what I've just taught you, right? At comparing homologous compounds, right? So meaning this is where we have to explain why this other compound has the higher boiling as this compound, why it has lower vapor pressure than this compound, and all that guys, right? And this is where we're going to use the information that we just learned from the above slides. Okay, so what I want you to always mention when you explain, right, what is going to get you the full 3 or 4 marks, right, is when you mention in your explanation the structure. Okay, um there you have to make sure that the structure is always there, because this is very important guys. You have to mention the structure, and you also have to mention the intermolecular forces in those compounds. You have to say, okay, this one has London dispersion forces and this one has hydrogen bonds, right? In that way, that is how you're gonna get the full marks, right? Because you can explain everything, but if you don't mention these 3 things, you're not gonna get the full marks. And the last one being the physical properties, meaning the energy. So this one is actually basically the conclusion of your explanation, whereby you say, and therefore this compound will require more energy to break the bonds, hence it has the higher boiling point, or it has the lower boiling point. Alright guys, so that's what we need to know when we're explaining. We explain using these 3 things here. We mention the structure, we mention the intermolecular forces, and we also mention the physical properties, which is the energy. Okay, now let me give you an example of how we actually do this. So this is our first example guys, example 1. Here we have the organic compounds, molecular mass, and also vapor pressure. Okay, so I want to mention something about this thing right here, vapor pressure. Okay, so what I want you guys to know is that vapor pressure is inversely proportional to your boiling point. Okay, what does this mean? That means the higher the vapor pressure, the lower the boiling point, right? If you have a high boiling, if a compound has a higher vapor pressure, right, that same compound will have the lowest boiling point. If a compound has the highest boiling point, it will have the lowest vapor pressure. Alright guys, so keep that in mind, because as we see here in this example, right, let's look at the vapor pressure column. There we see the highest vapor pressure. That means there you're gonna have the lowest boiling point. Okay, and there we have the lowest vapor pressure. That means there we're gonna have the highest boiling point. So looking at that, I already know which compound has the highest boiling point and which compound has the lowest boiling point. Okay, so yeah, that's what I wanted to show you guys. Now let's dive into our example. We have the organic compounds, molecular mass, and also the vapor pressure. So at A we have a propane, right? So we know propane has 3 carbons, and then it's also an alkane. You also have another alkane here, which is a butane, which has 4 carbons, right? So here we have the 2 alkanes. Okay, and there is our ester there. There's our ester, and there we have which is ethyl methanoate, and there we have a certain alcohol. They just told us that this is an alcohol, right? Nothing else. We don't know the name of this alcohol. They just told us that it's an. And then we have a propanoic acid, right, which is a carboxylic acid. Okay, guys. Yeah. So those are the organic compounds that we have. So as you see here, right, we said this one will have the lowest boiling point. So it's a propanoic acid. That the highest boiling point, yes, it's a propanoic acid. So as we already know, it has hydrogen bonds. So yes, it has to have the highest boiling point. Okay, guys. Now let's look at the questions that they have for us here. Question says, explain the decrease in vapor pressure from compound A to compound B, right? So we know that compound A is a propane, right? It has 3 carbons. It's propane. I'll try to write here, guys. Sorry for that. But that's propane. Okay, I hope you guys see it. And compound B is, we have a butane for compound B. Alright, a butane. You guys will know that it's a butane, right? So now we see here that we're comparing two compounds of the same homologous series, which are the alkane. Okay, so now how do we make sure that we get all those marks, right? Which is 3 marks. We said that you first have to mention the structure, you have to mention the intermolecular forces, and also the physical properties, right? So there's our first line there in our paragraph. We say that compound B, which is the butane, has a longer chain length than compound, oh sorry guys, there it's supposed to be than compound A, not B. It's supposed to be A there. Let me fix that. Let me fix that one. Not B, than A. Okay, so it's supposed to be compound A there. Compound B has a longer chain length than compound A, right? So we know most compound A has 3 carbons and compound B has 4 carbons. So yes, compound B does have a longer chain length than compound A. That is the structure, guys. That is the first thing you mentioned there, the structure. And now bear in mind that we just mentioned a longer chain length, which was one of the effects in intermolecular forces. Okay, so now that means we already mentioned the structure, so we're looking to mention now the intermolecular forces, right? So both compounds have London dispersion forces. Yes, both compounds have the London dispersion forces because both are of the alkanes, right? Alkanes being the homologous series that have the London dispersion forces, right? But compound B has stronger London dispersion forces. Yes, compound B does have stronger London dispersion forces because it has a longer chain length. Okay, guys. So therefore, here this is us mentioning the intermolecular forces right there, the London dispersion forces. So therefore more energy is needed to overcome the intermolecular forces of compound B. Hence, it has a lower vapor pressure. Okay, so guys, this is us here mentioning the physical properties, which is the energy. More energy is needed to overcome the intermolecular forces of compound B. We've mentioned everything there. We mentioned on the first line the structure, the second line we mentioned the intermolecular forces, whereby we told you that both compounds have the London dispersion forces. And there on the third line, we mentioned that more energy is needed. That means here we mentioned the physical properties, meaning the energy, right? So more energy is needed to overcome the intermolecular forces of compound B. Hence, it has a lower vapor pressure than compound A. We've basically answered the whole question there. We answered the question there, so we get our full 3 marks there, guys. Okay, this is not hard. As long as you mention the structure, you mention the intermolecular forces, and you also mention the energy. Okay, you will be done there. Right? Now let's look at the second question that they have for us there. Which compound will have higher boiling point between compound C and compound E, right? And that one now is for 4 marks. Okay, guys, that one is for 4 marks. Now, what we know is that compound C, we know that compound C is the ester, right? Compound C is our ester there, which is the ethyl methanoate, right? From the table, and compound E. And compound E is our carboxylic acid, right? I'm gonna write C there, and that E is for ester. The C there is for carboxylic acid. Just reminding you guys what he had on the table. Okay, so now how do we answer this one, right? Which one has a higher boiling point? Alright, so from the table we already know which one has the higher boiling point, because E has the lowest vapor pressure than compound C, right? So that means this one has the higher boiling point, but we're going to use the intermolecular forces to explain that. Right, so firstly we know that we have to mention the structure, the intermolecular forces, and also the energy. Okay, now let's get to it. Compound C is an ester, right? We're telling them what they already know. And compound E is a carboxylic acid. That is you mentioning the structure, because now you're just telling them which homologous series these two compounds belong in, right? You're telling them that compound C is an ester and compound E is a carboxylic acid, right? There we go. We get our first mark there. Alright, this is 4 marks, guys. We get our first mark there. Alright. Now you tell them compound C has dipole-dipole forces. You mentioning the intermolecular forces, right? Compound C has the dipole-dipole forces. Remember, we said you mentioned the strongest. Don't mention all those intermolecular forces. You mention the strongest for those homologous series. So for compound C, which is an ester, has dipole-dipole forces, right? And compound E, which is right there, compound E there has hydrogen bonds, right? So you mentioned the intermolecular forces there, guys. You also get your second mark there. You mentioned the intermolecular forces of both compounds. Compound C has dipole-dipole forces and compound E has hydrogen bonds. Okay, so compound E has stronger intermolecular forces than compound C, right? Compound E has stronger intermolecular forces than compound C. Yes, because the hydrogen bonds which are in compound E are stronger than the dipole-dipole forces which are in compound C, right? That they know, Alright, guys, that's what we're giving them here. We're giving them everything because we learned that hydrogen bonds are stronger than the dipole-dipole forces. Okay, therefore, compound E will have a higher boiling point because it has the strongest intermolecular forces, right? Therefore, it will have the higher boiling point. Or you can say here, more energy will be needed to break the compound, you do to break the intermolecular forces of, you can say more energy is needed to overcome the bonds of compound E, right? And then you get your full 4 marks there, guys, right? Because you've explained the structure, you have mentioned the intermolecular forces, and you have also mentioned the physical properties, which is the energy, right, guys? So this is basically how you answer these questions to get the full marks. Okay, guys, so you don't panic. This is question 3. This is all you need to know for question 3 so that you can get all those marks. Don't forget the definitions, guys, because they might ask you the definition of the boiling point or the vapor pressure. Okay, so that is it from me today. Hopefully I will see you guys on the next video next Tuesday, because Tuesday is Edurise Physics Day. Okay, guys, and also don't forget to join us at Edurise, because if we can give you such videos, imagine what we can give you in class. Okay, so we'll see you guys next week Tuesday, here with me, same time, same place. Goodbye.